look what I've got back. Customer decided he'd be smart and drop the bike. I'm kidding, he wasn't that smart. And seriously, both him and I just about cried over this one. There was a lot of work involved in this tank, as you can imagine, and here we go again. There's no real point trying to save this gas tank. It's been lined, paint job would have to be stripped, you're starting all over anyway. And you know how it goes. Second time around, you can usually do it much faster. I think I can make this a lot simpler than I did the first time around, which was a lot more joints. So I believe I should be able to make this as one piece all the way through. So if I flip this on my aluminum sheet to mirror it, I can turn that into this, which will be the center. And then I'll fold those sides down and crease it, curve it a bit to give it that shape in here. That's because it's got a bit of a curve. It looks flat in pictures, but it's got curve to it there. And then the back piece, similar situation where I've got, there's a curve running this way, and then we've got some bends in it. So I'll be able to shrink, stretch it, roll it, and same thing, I'm gonna flip that on the sheet to mirror it, which brings me to this piece, which is the back. That's gonna put these two pieces together. You can kind of see how that's gonna work. I'm starting to build the underside of it, which is usually where I like to start. You can go ahead and build the top, but then if it doesn't really line up, you got a lot of work to do, which is what happened to me on the last tank and why there were so many welds that I think I can fix this time around. So what I've done is I've shaped this to go around the top of the airbox. These kinks here go around some plugs that are on the top of it, some sensors. So what I'm doing now is making some side profiles. So I'm gonna start to build it up to my frame, the front side. Okay, so that's gonna be welded along there, and then this side, just the back part of it, which will go like this. Sorry, very hard to hold from this angle. Is gonna go and cover that whole side. So then the flare-outs that I've got that follow the frame, they'll be trimmed later when the lid goes on and I find that seam mark. I've drawn some rough marker lines as to where the frame is just to give myself an indicator. So that's what I've done, and I've mirrored that on the other side as well. So now we're gonna go to weld it, and a couple of tacks just to make sure everything fits around this airbox before I run the beads. It's the next day, and I thought I'd show you where I left off. Right now the top is just sitting on top of the base. You can kind of see what I had to do here. I've cut out around the back of the airbox. The reason is I need that to be as tight as possible so that I can do these knee indents. And as you can see from above, they can't stick out past this point. See, I've drawn a little line here with the marker. These knee indents will come down. I can't be past that to keep this tank as narrow as possible on all my frame rails. So then, see what's going on underneath, how it gets a bit complicated. Where we've got the airbox coming down here, this is gonna have gas in it, so I've got to figure out a way to bridge the distance between this and then that fold down and under without having gas sit up in the front nose of that tank. So I'm going to try and accomplish a little bit more of this today, and we'll check back in a minute. I've got the top of the tank done. Now I'm starting to figure out the sides. So what I'm doing is the knee indents, figuring out my folds, as many folds as I can do on the brake. It's going to save me having to weld, which means less chance for leaks. And then this section in here, as you see, that'll be the flat spot for where the knee indent goes, connects over this triangular shape. And then I'm figuring out the wraparound here on the front, and that'll have a kickback to tie into the underside that I've already created. So I've taken my paper template, drawn it on the aluminum, done a couple of bends, so to give myself that knee indent, that would follow inside as so. So what I'm going to do is tack it at the front and at the back. Nice little curve on the indent. When I heat it up with the welder, I'll be able to form that in. And then when that lays in flat, I'll just have to do that flat spot as at the back half here, and then I'll start working around the front.